the name of that book, show your work. I would actually add to that title, if I can take the liberty, show your work for free. Like, don't expect to be paid a dime. Like, it took me probably the best of 100 good, decent quality videos to actually get a lead. The point is, help somebody. Like, post because somebody needs you.
Welcome back to another episode of The Pursuit of Purpose. My name is Chris Kiefer, and today I am joined by Alex Vyshnevsky.
Perfect.
Almost got it. Alex Vyshnevsky. Oh, I should have stuck with my second attempt. But I'm joined by Alex from Sonorus Consulting. He is a fellow no-code YouTube person that's on the internet sharing his knowledge. And I'm super excited for this conversation. I stumbled across his page months ago when I was looking for a solution for some hyper-specific Airtable thing that I was trying to do. And I'm just fascinated by the internet and what it facilitates as far as these connections go. So we are going to be talking about no-code related things, maybe some YouTube stuff. But yeah, Alex, thank you so much for taking the time to come on.
My pleasure.
So Sonorus Consulting. First of all, because I see on your channel you've got some Japanese characters, it looks like.
Yeah.
What
Our logo
is that?
looks like a Japanese.
What is the word?
So the word is sound. Back when I originally started the company, and like most people do, the first thing that you do is buy a domain and think of a name, right? And then you do nothing with it for like 5 years. So yeah, the Japanese heritage comes kind of from my appreciation of Japanese culture. It's not like I'm into anime or anything like that. It's more along the lines of I appreciate things that are simple, mechanically brilliant, and I think like the Japanese culture embodies that, the simplicity, the sharpness of things, and how well they're put together. And to pay homage to that, I included some Japanese characters that basically spell out sound, because the original idea for the company was to be a marketing company, actually. And sound, sonorous is a loud sound. It was inspired heavily by Harry Potter, because it's like a spell in the books.
Okay.
It's where they put the wand onto like to their neck, and it turns your voice into like a very loud I don't know, like speaker, so to speak. So yeah, all of these ideas merged together, and when my wife saw the logo after a while, she was like, "Oh, so so you have a Japanese restaurant," and she ruined it for me right there and then. So yeah, that's the origins of the logo and the branding and the Japanese characters.
So what I wanted to dive into is no code specifically. What was the first no code tool that you remember using?
If Google Sheets can be considered low code, I'll take it, because a lot of people use Excel, and let's talk about Excel. I think Excel could be considered the first low code tool to ever exist, because people treat it as a Gantt chart, as a makeshift database, as sometimes people paint in it and color things in, and and they almost create like pixel-like effects, where the cell and the column and the row kind of become perfect squares, and you can color things in, and it becomes an image. So if that can be considered the first no-code tool that I've ever used, let's consider that. But more traditionally, I would say the first tool that I've ever used was Zapier, because I needed to connect Excels to each other, or different. I started using low code while being a marketeer. And for marketers, it was really important for us to shift data around, from Mailchimp into a Google Sheet, for instance, or from some kind of form builder into a Google Sheet. So Zapier was the original gateway drug, I would say.
Mm.
And
I was
using Zapier, I actually started diving into other tools that could be connected. In other words, Zapier was my guide. If I couldn't connect it, if I was looking for a specific tool, but it wasn't on Zapier, I wouldn't use it because it's immediately a big limiting factor. So hopefully
It's
that
so
answered
funny
the
that you
question.
brought up Zapier because I fight people on this all the time. Uh, is it called a Zap or a Zape?
Zap.
So why would it be called Zapier if it's Zaps?
I think it's a GIF kind of debate.
It could be,
Uh,
but there's a yeah. So, anyways, I'm just giving you a hard time.
I don't know.
I always
You know
say
what?
to people, I think it is. It's and the other thing is, I heard a Zapier employee 3 years ago on a call. It was like a um, client research call or something.
Mhm.
She said Zapier makes you happier. So that's
Correct.
the other like you know uh, whatever thing to remember. But what the reason I wanted to bring it up is because that's funny because that is also the first time that I ever interacted with Zapier as a user was probably 5 years ago, but it was 11 years ago. I looked this up because I started my first company in 2013. And
Mm.
there was this podcast that I would listen to all the time called Mixergy,
Mixergy.
and it's hilarious. I've not listened to this episode, but I vividly remember, and it's always stuck in my mind. The host Andrew was interviewing Wade Foster, and imagine like again, this is crazy to get to go back and look at a snapshot in time when Wade Foster, the founder of Zapier, who now is $1 billion company, is describing, and it says the title is hilarious. How Wade Foster created a software that interacts with over 250 other softwares. And it's
Wow.
like nowadays, what they're at 6,000 or
Thousands.
something
Yeah,
like that.
thousands.
So anyways, this was the first time that I remember hearing Zapier in my mind. And I was like, okay, at the time I was running a video production company. Also
Hmm.
interesting. We were in the marketing world. And
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I wonder what Zapier is. But I would listen to Mixergy because it was these interviews and like really in-depth interviews with founders, and it was them telling their story of growth and everything and the challenges that they came across. And I would tell people that Mixergy was like my um almost like drug to continue moving through
Oh.
the difficulty of being an entrepreneur. And what I mean by that is like it's the mental stimulation and like the encouragement or like the
Hmm.
energy to be like it's hard and it's supposed to be hard and you're on the right path and just keep going. Because when you hear the
Hmm.
stories of these successful founders and they're describing situations that are just like what you're in, it's motivating. So, anyways, that's the first time that I ever, and I just looked this up because it's cool that it's still online. I might have to re-listen to this. But anyways, the yeah, Zapier, first no code
For sure.
tool. I'm curious, uh, when was because what I'm passionate about is I feel like there is so much automation to be automated, things that need automation, that there
Hmm.
is this ocean of opportunity. So when I'm talking to
Mm.
young
True.
kids, business owners, like every business needs to be more automated than it is. And there is this a massive opportunity for people to get in and start doing the same thing that I'm doing, start doing the same thing that you're
That I'm
doing.
doing.
And it's
Yep.
like yeah, it's just like there's like I want more people to come because I'm like there's
Hmm.
plenty to go around. Like I have so many opportunities that I could never do all of them ever.
True.
So I feel like who is the type of I'm always interested when I meet people like you, what was your background and how did you kind of realize, hey, I can do this? Because I don't think,
Hmm.
or I used to think anyone could do it. I now would say the right type of person, you got to be a little analytical, maybe engineering minded. That's going to help. But I really think that there's a special opportunity for people that have business experience and that are social people, like enjoy communicating with people, because no code is like where you get the citizen developers that have the like area of expertise, and
Yeah.
then they can just solve and automate little tiny things without having to hire a dev team like you did 15, 20 years ago.
You're right. But um, here's the thing, Chris. Although I agree with you, I would actually add to that list one extra thing, and that is in 2025. If you really want to do this, to like get involved with no code as a even as a side gig, it's all well and good to do like training on your own and do some dummy projects and some tests and learn the stuff. You also have to be very conscious of things like YouTube, things like Instagram, things like TikTok, because it's all well and good knowing the craft and learning it and being that special type of open-minded engineer kind of thing, with business acumen and the gift of gab. But you also have to, in order to get work, in order to get paid and make a living of any kind, either full-time or part-time or quarter of the time, it, it's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. So if people don't know who you are, they don't know that, you know what, I'm a specialist in Airtable, or I'm a specialist in helping painting businesses advance. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
like if they don't know that, they're it's gonna be really hard to find work. So yes, I agree with you. You need to be.
So you're saying, yes, people could do that, but you're saying if this is something that you want to run a business with, you need to be just as focused on getting your name out there as you are on learning the craft.
Uh, yeah, man. Yes, unfortunately, I think it's there's some kind of weird stigma in a lot of people who are somewhat, let's call them geeks, who like to analyze spreadsheets, who like to dig into data. There's kind of like this weird notion that no, we are the people who are behind the scenes running the numbers. Um, Problem with that is you're it's gonna be really hard for you to find work because you have to, at the end of the day, help somebody without expecting to be paid for it, i.e., share some advice, basic advice on YouTube, on Instagram, on whatever. That is what's going to accelerate you having any sort of income. If you just want to help people, great. And if this is just like your hobby, fantastic. But for the vast majority of young people, because you were talking about that opportunity that's there, I think if you are planning to spend an hour on learning, uh, I don't know, ChatGPT or Airtable or something, split that hour and spend 45 minutes learning ChatGPT or whatever, honing your craft, and then 15 minutes into talking in front of a camera. Like
Mm,
record yourself explaining
yes.
something.
This
Like
reminds
give
me of a,
emphasis.
yeah, it reminds me of a book called Show Your Work by Austin Kleon. Have you ever heard of that?
Heard of it? Yes.
But basically, my twist on what you're saying is and this is exactly what happened for you and I. When was the first time you posted like a video? Not first time ever on YouTube, but when was the first time you were like, I'm doing Sonorus Consulting no code and I'm posting a no code video on my YouTube channel?
First one was probably 2020.
Okay. And then what was your cadence of posting? Has it increased, or were you one a month, or?
Oh my. Oh my. It was so when I posted the first one, I don't think I posted again for like another 3 months.
Mm,
After that, I think I posted the next one in like a year or maybe more.
mm,
But when I realized that it's not enough anymore to just be the best at
yep.
something. And by the way, I realized that when I already had staff, like when I had already a decent team and we had ongoing work and we were in relative terms kicking ass,
Yeah.
I realized that this is like, if I want to protect this, if I still want to be here in 15 years time, I need to start now. YouTube, like,
Yeah.
because the opportunities are infinite, but I have to be, I have to have a shot at that, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm bringing up that point, because it's not enough anymore.
Yeah. Because I would say the show your work book is basically saying that um, you don't need to only present finished products, or like you don't only make a YouTube video when you I don't know, I'm trying to think of, like, I'm done with an Airtable base, so now I'm going to present this to the world.
Mhm.
You what this guy advocates for is we're all learning stuff all the time. Like every
Yeah,
day, if you think about it, you learn something. And
true.
so why not take a second or 15 minutes, like you said, and just just show it, post a blog, post a web on your website, like post it on Facebook or social media or something. Just like
True.
document that, hey, I learned this thing, and try and add value. And the most random video, I don't know if you've had a video like this, but I first posted on my YouTube channel, like
Mhm.
I'd posted other videos sporadically for fun with friends and stuff. But when I was like, all right, I'm Boolean automation, I'm going to go hard on this and start posting.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
was in September of 23. And I said by the end of the year, so I had 90 days, I wanted to post 100 videos on the YouTube channel. So just over a
That's a
video per
very
day.
ambitious goal.
Yeah. I was just like, my thought was, I'm going to
Casey
make so
Neistat
many
it.
mistakes. I'm going to make so many mistakes that, like, if I can do 100, I will learn. I'll have iterated and tested and tried out. And the other thing is that I knew it would force me to come up with a editing solution,
Mhm.
because I wanted to focus on creating the content and then find an
Mhm.
editor to post and and get the processes dialed in.
Yeah.
So I didn't make my goal by the end of the year, but I did end up getting it in February of 24. So it took me like 5 months to get to 100. Um, but the thing that, like, in the process, like when you have to make a video every day, I'm like hunting for, like, I got to make a video. I made a commitment. I'm going to find something to document. And so one of the most absurd videos, and I had forgotten about this until someone commented on it yesterday, was HubSpot, which is one of the tools we use. They removed the ability to download call recordings. Like if you record a
That's
call in HubSpot,
dumb.
you can't. They want to like keep you inside of HubSpot, so you have to like share with other HubSpot users. It's like, what if I just want to download it and text it to my friend? Why can't I do that? And so I like did a bunch of research and was trying to find out how to do this. And there's this, I ended up making a 2-minute video on like how you use the developer tools inside of Chrome to like
To
just open it
download
up,
the link.
download the file itself and post it, or like to save it to your computer. And it's like, I don't know, probably has 25 views. But the thing that I think is so cool is the video is literally titled How to Download HubSpot Call Recording 2024. And so someone was probably searching for that exact thing, which didn't exist when I had the problem. So
Mhm.
it took me an hour, and they got to watch this video that took me, 5 minutes to record and then an editor to edit and all that stuff. And now they get to solve their problem with this thing. And who knows how many other people may or may not stumble across it. But again, the point being that, like, that's an example, in my opinion, of showing your work, that it doesn't have to be anything game changing. It's like, oh, cool, I found this little hack. I wonder if anyone else has made a video on this. And then go to YouTube. No, they haven't. Cool, make one. Now that's a different strategy, or like your channel, I would say. And we talked about this a little bit
Yeah.
before, but I'm curious. There is an element of quality that needs to be there for like good YouTube channels. Like Mr. Beast doesn't post every day. He posts once every 2 weeks, sometimes
He
three
used to
weeks.
post a lot.
Yeah. And now he's, emphasized, I've heard him say it's easier to make a video that gets 100 million views than make 100 videos that make 1 million views each.
Yeah, true.
And it's like that mindset of focusing your effort to get the really big hits, there is strategy there. But I feel like for new people, I would say don't worry about that yet. Just
Yeah.
practice, because the like you said, you post a video and then you don't post for 4 months. That's what I was afraid that I would do, and that's why I made some ridiculous goal to just post and post and post and post and post until it was like a habit. And now I'll
Mhm.
be like, okay, and now like I haven't posted a YouTube video in 3 weeks, so I got to do something about that.
I posted one yesterday.
There you go. You knew the podcast was coming. You had to make sure.
No, and I posted one last week, dude. No breaks. Like
That's awesome.
I actually shot a video on the 24th, like Christmas Eve. Uh, posted the day before, which was a no, Christmas Eve was a Tuesday, so posted and shot one on Christmas Eve. Then shot one on New Year's Eve, and posted one on the first, or sorry, on the second, which was yesterday. So technically, I mean, okay, I had time on my hands, so I that's my job, and I appreciate that the younger people who are probably listening to this, or not so young people who are probably thinking of changing a career. Doesn't You don't have to be young, especially people who have business acumen. They're probably in their 30s, 40s, 50s. Like, you have to spend time in business to have business acumen. So right now, that's my job. I would actually add that it took me a while to make YouTube my priority physically, because I had to actually be there for the team and run projects and help them and project manage and all of that. But 2024 was the year where I said enough is enough. I'm focusing on this. I'm going to spend 80-90% of my time on this, point blank. And the name of that book, Show Your Work, I would actually add to that title, if I can take the liberty. Show your work for free. Like,
Mm.
don't expect to be paid a dime.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it took me probably the best of 100 good, decent quality videos to actually get a lead
Yep.
from this. And even that lead, don't think it brought millions. Bottom line is that I have to do, and I did have to do, quite a lot of work for free. A lot of work. I still do a lot of work for free. So the point is, help somebody. Like, post because somebody needs you out there. Just like that HubSpot example. Those 25 views were people who were looking for that. They,
Yep.
I'm pretty sure it didn't just appear on their
Yeah, they
Mr.
were
Beast
seeking it out.
filled feed.
Yep.
They were seeking answers. So that should be the number one reason why, because you want to help, not because you want to get a gig. The gigs will
Yep.
come. Post. I I have changed my mind on my original conversation, because it kind of got a little bit, not heated, but we had a bit of an argument. I think we had. I appreciate your stance more, I think, than I did during our previous
Which was just
discussion.
doing volume.
Uh, well, I think, yes, volume helps a lot. Um, I would say maybe try to do as much volume as possible with the, but try to keep it consistent. Like Casey Neistat, everybody knows who that guy is. One of the most prolific YouTubers of the last 10 years, I would say. He did that. Like, Chris did 90 days. And Casey did 300, like a year, I think. I don't remember, but a very extended period of time. Uh, the thing is, make it sustainable. Like, post a lot, but as long as the deal is that it's sustainable for you and for your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Um,
My caveat with any goal like that is make sure that you have an end date before, and the end date is then where you reevaluate and set a new target. But I will
okay,
say the thing that
it's not
I
bad.
see myself get tripped up in is where I'm like, I'm going to post every day. And it's like, for like a week, your life, like how long? That's not
For
like
how
you
long?
can't do every day forever. That doesn't make any sense. So
True.
it's much more valuable to say, like, again, pick a timeline. I'm going to do this every day for a month or for a week or whatever. And then I'm going to evaluate what is a more like, could I do more or less or whatever? But I do think that any goal that you set needs to be, I'm going to do blank until this. And then that gives your mind and just like the framework of like, oh, I've been doing this for 25 days. Oh, I only got 5 more days. I'm going to finish strong and like fulfill my commitment. Because if you don't put a time frame,
Mm,
you're just setting yourself up to not live up to your commitment, which is
true.
terrible. You can't ever, you always are going to have to violate your word if you don't have a deadline.
It's true. It's true. I agree. Also, please, like whoever is considering this, and I know this is like the 2nd of January, it's the 3rd of January actually. Um, New year, new me. All of these New Year resolutions, they're fantastic, but um, I would say the biggest catalyst to me doing this consistently was by far finding an editor. I knew I sucked at
Yeah.
editing. I hated it. Guess what? There are things that are called like these marketplaces where you can find super talented, creative people who will do editing for you for like 40, $50. I get it. 40, $50 is still money. And for some people, it's hard. You can even get it for cheaper. Maybe you can start doing a little bit of editing yourself, or make sure like that your content is ready and prepared, like into folders, and like really you have a script written out so that your editor, whoever is going to be helping you with the edit, for example, if that's one thing that, like, this was a big hurdle for me, and I overcame it by being nice to my editor. I have a script ready for him. I have all the folders, all the files all ready. Like, I make their life easy
Mm,
so that they stick with me and they give me the best possible price because I'm not wasting their time.
yep.
Um, so that was a big thing for me. New year, new me. New year, new editor. Maybe not new editor, but get an editor, basically.
Yeah. Replace your editor. And your editor's like, wait, what?
Replace yourself from the editing
Yes.
thing.
Yeah. I had to look it up. I was very wrong. That video that I mentioned, the random one, and I think this is even more exciting to share. It's actually, so I've posted 300 and 315 videos in the last year and a half or however long it's been. But that one video, that's just the 2-minute video of how to download a call from HubSpot. It actually has 1,000 views, and it's
Hey,
my 13th most viewed video. So it's
wow.
like there's two things with all metrics. First of all, like that's, you never know what's going to be a hit and what's not. And the fact that that's in the top 10% of, not even, that would be the top 1% of my videos, is a random video that I was like, oh, I almost didn't post it. And 1,000 people have now looked at that. And one person said, this is awesome. Thank you so much. Finally. But it's also like a short video. It's not like it was crazy complex. But the other thing to keep in mind, and I want to shift into this, is metrics. I think sometimes people feel like their videos are terrible or they're on the wrong path because their videos get 50 views or 100 views. And they're like, oh, I wasted all this energy. And the funny thing about that, yeah, it was in the top 1% of my videos, but it's an extremely low converting as far as like the ideal client. That's fine. Like my ideal client, which is a painting company that's between $4 and $10 million, very low chance that they were looking for that. Right. So I
Yeah,
made a video
true.
that was popular. Great. How is it going to revert back to what you do in your business? Because yeah, any of us could make videos that get a lot of views, but I think there's also a strategy, and I think you've done this well, on trying to think or reverse engineer, this is the type of client that I'm looking for,
Yeah,
and therefore that person is probably going to be searching XYZ. So I'm going to make videos that are targeted towards this type of person. And that video could get 50 views, but guess what? 5 of them scheduled calls with you, right?
True.
And then you close one of them for a deal. And so I want, and that's also same thing with subscribers. You can have, I know we talked about this before, but it blows me away that like you can have like a very healthy, thriving business on 1,000 YouTube subscribers, and leads are coming in the door, like with, because you're targeted and niche and you know what you're after. When you're trying to
Absolutely.
be the next Mr. Beast and just making an entertaining video, good luck. But if you can focus in on a niche of the population, at least to start, I think that's a better way to go.
True. I agree with you. Look, generally speaking, and I know we have to kind of jump because we're kind of running time. I would say whatever it is that is closest, like especially for people who might be considering starting a YouTube channel 2025, go for it is number one thing. Number two, the thing that is closest to your heart today, not a topic that you were an expert at 5 years ago. What is it that you did today that you feel has got something interesting about it? And maybe it's not just today, maybe it was like this week. For instance, a lot of the inspiration that I get for a lot of our videos is projects or even quotes sometimes that we do that maybe don't, they maybe don't pan out as actual projects, but I get so much inspiration from that business case or from that challenge that that client has, and I sterilize it. I clean it, I sanitize the idea so that you won't be able to tell what business it is or what the whole thing is, and I make a video on it because it's so interesting. I might have the solution, and not only that, it actually kind of works nicely because if the deal doesn't pan out, you'll be like, hey, by the way, I did a video on this. And sometimes they actually turn back around and say, hey, wow, that's cool, let's rekindle the relationship. So
I
it
love
works.
that. What was the, so you are at, this is a question I always like asking YouTubers. Um, your subscriber count is 200 or 2056, 2560 subscribers. Um, and you're posting basically at least once a week, sometimes more.
Yep.
Um, and most of your videos are, seems like 5 at the short end to 20 minutes or
Yep.
in that realm.
Mhm.
um how, like, are you, do you ever boost or promote videos that you think are, like, if they do well, do you put some money behind it to increase the views, or is everything 100% organic, or where's the spread of how you are growing the channel?
Look, for me, here's the thing. There's so many different ways to boost it. It's not just like putting money. Personally, I have never put any dollars into advertising, like AdSense in the videos. But you can always post some of the videos to things like LinkedIn, to Facebook, to any other social media platform out there, and that will inherently boost the video. Another interesting thing that I've noticed is that if somebody is like a lot of the videos that I post on the first week, they will get some views, but over time, as the algorithm starts jumping them up, I've seen spikes that sometimes come out of nowhere. And or maybe like I had this very recent case where one of the platforms that I reviewed, because we do reviews, right, where I spend 24 hours with a given platform and I give my honest feedback about what's it been like. So one of these platforms actually did a promotion on AppSumo, which is like this discount marketplace for apps, for SaaS apps. Um, and guess what? They put one of my videos as their
Ah.
promotional thing. Suddenly, my views went up. So, yeah, that's another interesting thing. Also, another cool fact I've recently signed up for AdSense. I should have signed up ages ago. Um, uh, I'm making about $1.50 a day in ads in AdSense, which
Nice.
is sick. It's
That's
amazing.
awesome. I mean, that's fantastic. To think about like every day, and if you're posting a video once a week, that means you're making what, $8 to $10 per video. You're
No,
moving in the
no.
direction
That's
of.
collectively.
No, I'm
Collect.
saying that your rate though, like as you, if you were to say
Uh,
starting today, I'm going to pay you $8 a day to make a video every week. It's only going to get better. But I'm saying right now you are bringing in $8 for every video that you post moving forward.
yeah,
Yeah.
potentially, but
And
it's
then it
about
gets better.
$1.70 a day with 2,500 subscribers, 170 something videos in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I would say, because this was advice given by Gareth Pronovost, and something to think about, because I was for a while my first, I don't know, 50 or 70 videos, I did not spend any money. He said set up a Google Ads account, and maybe not every video, but if you put a lot of time into a video, put $5 a day behind that video on and do it for like 30 days. And so I've done that. Now what I do is whenever I create a video that's like targeted, there's a software called Paint Scout. That's like a hyper focused ideal client. Like if someone's looking up something for Paint Scout, I put money behind every single video that's related to Paint Scout because that's my ideal client. And so that, like in the last since starting, we now have 4,000 subscribers, and we've spent roughly $4,000 over the last year and a half on boosting those ads. And I think we've gotten at least 25 discovery calls, like legit discovery calls, and then signed up probably 5 people directly from YouTube videos. And for us, we have large contracts, so the marketing spend on that is like a no-brainer. But for you or any YouTuber, I would say I feel like there's some, initially I was like hesitant, like, is that cheating to like spend money? But the way Gareth explained it was like you're literally nothing. Like you're putting in all this time and energy, and there is cost to your time. Like it takes money that you could be allocating your time elsewhere to make money, right? And so by not doing that, you're losing money by not doing other stuff. And how silly it is to think that you're basically, from YouTube's perspective, they've got this algorithm, like a brand new creator, they don't know the quality of your videos. They don't know if it's hitting with people. So why not spend a small percentage of the whatever your time's worth? If you spent 4 hours making a video, probably worth $1 an hour, uh, getting people to see that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and then you can optimize inside of Google Ads. Are you trying to get more subscribers or get more views or get likes or whatever? But yeah, I think I would be curious if you experiment with that at all, because
No, not
most
yet.
people that I've talked to most YouTubers have said that they do at least selectively promote videos.
Actually, I
Um,
haven't. I haven't. I think this is
so
my New Year's resolution
do it.
to try it out. I'm just curious.
Yeah,
Seriously,
and I would say
I
one
never
thing to
thought it
do
was
is,
cheating or anything. By the way, I just
yeah,
like
just hadn't focused
so
on it.
so focused on making the damn thing that
Yeah. I
never
mean,
crossed
the
my mind.
quality of your videos is so good that I feel like if you go to the ones that are organically doing really well, those are the ones I would promote first. Or second thing would be the ones that are closest to your ideal client. All right. So moving into the wrap up questions, we got about 3 minutes. So
Let's do it.
3 book recommendations.
Okay. So I have the Trinity. I don't want to call it Holy Trinity, but it's the Trinity that saved my life. Book number one, and these are in order that I suggest people read them, especially young people who are stuck in a rut, like I once was, stuck in debt, and stuck in mild, no, like early stages of depression. I would suggest these 3 books read multiple times. But the first one is that helped me. was oh my god, why am I drawing a blank? How to Stop Worrying and Start Living by Dale Carnegie. That thing I read on repeat for many, 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 many months because I wanted to stop worrying, stop being anxious, get some practical old time advice on how to deal with anxiety and depression and yeah, and get my psychological, my mind in order. The second book, once you've managed to face your demons, I would suggest Sales, the most practical book that I've read, and I've read a few, but this one keep coming back to this. It's The Way of the Wolf by Jordan Belfort. It's it's got that Jordan Belfort-esque Wolf of Wall Street vibe, but it's how to bottle charisma and tame it and use it on command, basically. It's very practical, super practical. There's very little emotion in that book. It's just like paint by numbers almost. And it helped me because I wanted a paint by numbers system for my sales. Because I always thought that I sucked at sales, that I thought it was a hard thing to do. I always thought, salesmen, sleazy guys. I wanted to get something that actually helped. The third book, once I had, kind of gotten over myself and helped my psychological state, and I thought, okay, look, I've got the theory behind sales down. Uh, I started reading those two books all the time, but the third book that really kind of helped me uh, was The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Again, polarizing individuals, both of them, I would say, Cardone and Belfort, but it really helped me understand why I need to do uh, more than the average Joe. Why do I need to work two jobs, do the YouTube thing? Why? Um, it's and yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything for anybody, but these are the three books that I would definitely suggest.
I love the context and just the why behind your recommending. That's super helpful. Movie suggestion.
Can I suggest a series?
Yeah, a TV show.
Um, All Creatures Great and Small.
I haven't heard of that one.
There was a recent remake. It's a really old show from the 80s or 70s or something like that. It's about the greatest vet in the world, allegedly, and how he became the greatest vet. He's like a British, Scottish guy, and recently there's been a new remake of that series, and it's just lovely. It's heartwarming. It
That's
brings you
awesome. It's got
closer
an
to
8.6 on IMDb, that's tough to beat. That's incredible.
really, really, really good
I
series.
added it to my watch list. And what is your preferred method of contact for people to get in touch with you?
YouTube is an easy one. Of course, you can check out our website, Sonorus Consulting .com. But if you type in Sonorus, Sonorus in YouTube, you should see my pretty little face somewhere
Sweet.
in the
Well,
thumbnails.
Alex, thank you so much. Vyshnevsky, is that right?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Nailed it. Okay, I had to go one more shot. Alex Vyshnevsky, thank you for coming on and sharing your wisdom and telling stories. And keep producing those videos. And we'll have to do like a 2025 wrap up on the channel, and we'll see where we're both at. But it's great connecting with you, and thank you so much for the
Likewise.
knowledge that you're willingly giving away. And
My
hopefully the
pleasure.
people listening were inspired. Thanks.
I hope so too. Cool. Chris.
Thank you so much for listening. My name is Chris Kiefer, and my mission is to champion the relentless pursuit of purpose. And what that means to me is to be an example, a champion, someone that is in the trenches, working and showing and winning and trying and failing in how to pursue a deeper and more meaningful life with the people that I love, with my kids, with my friends, with our family, and also just be a champion and example of entrepreneurship and following my passion and doing what I believe I'm called to on this earth. And so if that inspires you in some way, please share this episode. If you want, like, subscribe, share, whatever, do all the stuff. It means the world to me to get this message and get these guests that I have out there. And if you're interested in any of the book recommendations or looking up other episodes of the movie list, you can visit my website, chriskiefer.com, for all the details on the show. And also check out the Boolean review software, as well as the Boolean automation consulting company that I own for home service businesses. So thank you so much, and we'll see you on the next episode.